Good evening. Welcome to the Season 9 reveal of your calendars and your tiers. Today is myself, Reaper, here every time, also being accompanied by the one and only Boomer.
Hello, hello. It's a pleasure to be here. I never was in this kind of streams, right?
No, I think last time it was me and CT.
I think it's Urban.
And then before that
kind of
was...
bad to forget that. I even know.
And then the one before that was Terminator, where I kept messing up the names.
Yeah.
But yes, so only a very small time before the calendar or before Season 9 starts. So starting off with C2, our good friend Mike Sands 2001, Arctic Squirrel, Claxel, Bang Average Seb, Alex _ Talent 23, Focus 10191, Luna Celtic. There we go. Looking at that name, trying to understand how to pronounce it.
Celtic. This is part Celtic, and I know Celtic is a Scottish football club, so. But anyway.
Celtic, Celtic, same thing. Depending on what part you're from.
True.
N2E _ Risapor76. I have no idea how to pronounce that name, so I apologise if I just got that wrong.
Good luck for the commentator.
Yep. Swifty and Churchy Brighton, who is a new sign-up, so good luck for Season 9. Heading into Seed 1, so obviously Seed 1 and Seed 2 have to tier up. You can't do it if you are in the same seed. Sorry, I did not explain that before. So, Seed 1, we are starting off with Jakey Boy Plays, Hey8182, Dano?
Dano? I don't know.
Dano?
Yeah.
Hopefully one of those three were correct. Benny
Should be.
I know. Hopefully it is. Benny Buno, JRam1334, Nice Marlino, Dan J. Saunders,
Miesco,
SietseBouma22, and Zab DS.
Yeah, and I really hope that Zap will be able to do it, because I also wanted to take this moment to pay respects to all the victims in Ukraine of the horrendous war that they just started. And we haven't heard a lot from Zap, but we knew that he had to fled because he lived in Kiev, I think. And he had to fled to the western part of the country, which is, I think, the safest thing for him to do. So I hope he's doing well, and we would really like to know how it is with him anytime soon when it is,
Yeah, just to make sure he's okay, so that, would be nice to know that he is doing okay.
Yes, his attendance won't be marked or checked whatsoever.
No, definitely not under any circumstances. But yeah, let us know, hopefully.
Oh yeah, wait. About tier 5, if someone watches the stream and is like has joined recently new on the server, and you think you don't have a really good pace, we are still searching for reserves for tier 5. So just let us know. Maybe we missed someone who already assigned their time trial times, but yeah, there is a lot of reserve place in tier 5.
Looking at that grid, what do we think?
Well, I know there is a certain guy called ReaperDude, and I heard he's quite good, but he is also good in bottling sometimes. So I hope he will do great this year.
Yeah, I heard that last season he only finished like 5 races.
I didn't say that. No, you totally did that.
Yep, I only finished 5 races last season, and 4 of them were the final 4.
So, I see a good pattern.
Yeah, hopefully that continues.
Yeah.
Because I mean, one of the ones I finished earlier on in the season, I think it was Imola, um, it was a good one. I finished third, I think it was. If the rain
Yeah.
didn't hit, it could have been better because I was on the softer compounds for the other two. But yeah, it wasn't a bad season overall. I did help with some points winning the Constructors' Championship last season in the Red Bull. But yeah,
Yeah, so you have to pick a good teammate for that to defend the title, and I think I can already advise someone.
I'm already
Maybe not.
seeing I'm already seeing a name there that I've raced with in sprint. I know he's a consistent driver. So
Yeah, and for the first time in 50% league, so I'm really glad we can welcome Upmo to the 50% tiers.
is this the
Good
first
he found
time?
it then. Yeah, he never did 50% tiers in
Right.
ALR. He never did.
Oh well, welcome Abmo. It's nice to finally have you jump over to the 50% side and hope to be fighting side by side for the title for you. So again, starting off with C2 drivers, we have Slimmy Cam, RenoKing98, being moved down to C2 for unfortunately missing the majority of last season for unforeseen circumstances. Glad to have you back, man.
Agreed.
Presmu31, MBMA05, It's Louis 010, Haida, Robin moving up from tier 4 from last season, the one and only CT Ice Demon, Killian, and Ahmed Shaban 3535. I am hoping I pronounced that right. Moving into the Seed 1 guys, we have Yusuf, Will the Game 91, moving up from tier 4 from last season, Usain Golt, Sam, Poggle, KXI07, Jamie, Jag Kings, Italiano Ligu, and Basket Emil. Again, another tier with. I can see a few drivers fighting for the title within tier 3.
Yeah, I agree. And it's really interesting to see that there are some drivers who have shown some really good pace far in the past, I have to say, far in the past, like a Heide or a Reno or a Slimmy. But yeah, they're now in C2, so they are able to team up with someone from Seed 1 that showed some more pace recently and be very good contenders for constructors. So some very interesting names here. Is there anyone you think has a slightly better chance on being being the next champion, being my follow-up?
I mean, there's a couple. I mean, Jamie is one that kind of comes out. He's consistent at finishing.
Yeah, he needs to stop DNFing.
Yeah,
If you look at the tier 3 standings of last season, it's
yeah, of
like
last season.
second DNF, second DNF.
I mean, I would love to see CT take that leap and take your crown.
Yeah, I don't think that's really realistic, but a podium for Matt. Let me
I
all
mean,
pray for that.
a podium for me would be more than enough. Um, I mean, Killian and Robin have both got pace. Obviously moving up from tier 4 last season. Obviously they're up against some big names, but Poggle's another one that's up there that kind of
Yeah, and Italiano was runner-up in tier 5
yeah.
after behind Trumpus, and Trumpus is not here in this tier, so you can guess where he went to.
Did he join you? I wonder. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I can't pin my finger on anyone exactly, so I'll see how it goes over there.
Yeah, because you also have like Yusuf here in tier 3 who
Hmm.
had the most polls of everyone last year in tier 3. It was not me, it was not Sven, it was not Jacob, it was Yusuf, but the poles were not really well converted into wins.
Mhm.
So if he can improve on that, then
Starting off with C2, we have Sven the Men, jumping up from Tier 3 from last season. I believe he was the runner-up of Tier 3. Yeah, behind you. Stumacher UK, making a jump up from Tier 4. He was the runner-up in Tier 4 from last season. Roller Ruler, also jumping up from Tier 4. Rick VGR06, dropped down from Tier 1. So not missing out on too much, thankfully. Casehall9992, ISO07, Pyro jumping up from Tier 4 from last season as well. Fontanelle making a return to Tier 2. Black Charizard and Apex Turbo, two people that were there last season, still there again this season. Moving on to Seed 1, we have Victor Bonk Rizzo, the Tier 4 champion, and my teammate that actually scored the most points to help the Constructors' Championship. Had to get that out there because he was carrying me for the majority of the season. If not all.
We all know.
Sohan Matthew, Oswaldo Romeo, Olive, N Mercer 77, Lucas DR3, who was the Tier 2 champion from last season.
It was Louis, not Lucas.
Oh no, my apologies, Louis. Of course it was. I always get those two wrong.
Lucas really wants to be named champion, though. He will be glad, but
sorry, Louis. King David 1, Chaotic, moving up from Tier 4. He is rapid. Jacko Lacko, and do you know, I've seen that name before. SietseBouma22.
Me, that's me. I'm a champion. You should know my name.
The Tier 3 champion, and well deserved. It was right down to the final race for you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was tense, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't feel like that much pressure as back then in PGL times. Back then, I felt I had to prove something, and now I already have proven myself, and even more now. So that's good.
Can you carry it over to T2? Do you reckon? Seeing some of those names in there, do you reckon you can take it?
It's a really quick tier, and of course, big talking point. Louis will not return for next season.
I know.
And also Urbanator is gone, but that has different reasons. So there's a void opening up there at the top of Tier 2 now. And if we look like at last standings, then Jacko Lacko, Oswaldo, Lucas were all very close to the top. But I think that when Sohan comes back to drive full time, watch yourself.
Yeah, he's definitely got the pace, hasn't he? Had a couple of bad races last season when he did race, through no fault of his own, for some of them, unfortunately. But I mean, you got the likes of Vita coming up to there and Pyro, which aren't too slow. And you got Casel back into T2 as well now.
Yeah, and Rollerula is also back in Tier 2 since we swapped him like after 2 races, because he was not really fitted for Tier 2 back then, but because a lot of people went off or promoted or are just gone, we think it's now a more suited tier for him.
Yeah, and it was the same with Fontenelle, wasn't it? It's like halfway through the season, he wanted out through a number of reasons. But again, like you said, with drivers not here within a tier, I think it's more suited for everyone there. I have a funny feeling the Tier 4 I had last season, you kind of inherited the best of it.
Yeah, it was really lovely. Also, stewarding wise, people really know what kind of driving standards were expected from them, and I hope we can translate that too in Tier 2. Now, I'm there to watch for it. Some other drivers are there to watch for it.
Seat 2, we move on to ZTrumpus79, the Tier 5 champion, who didn't race in Tier 5 for the final 3 races, and yet still won it.
Not 2,
by a
I
margin.
think, but yeah, from something like that. It was more than one.
Salieri, SLX Donny, Skillsy999 moving up from Tier 3 last season. Missing out on the championship, unfortunately, because he went on holiday.
Freaking on holiday then.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Well, he wasn't in the country, that's all I know.
Yeah.
He went abroad, so I can't remember where. Rantis 10, YaloRon010, Terminator 31 moving up from Tier 1 from last season. I can't pronounce this name.
Jacobo.
Thank you. I always think of the D when it should be silent.
Yeah, but you don't have like to pronounce it very harshly. The D. You just say Jacobo.
So basically, take the G out.
Yeah,
Zakubo.
you let the D already roll off your tongue.
Oh yeah, cool. Didn't think of that.
Go on.
Thank you. So Zakubo, Denja07, not having the greatest of seasons last season, and Alupalu22. That's running off the C2s. Alu missing out on some of the races last season, unfortunately. Seed 1, we have Stebber55, should be nicknamed the Spin King. Roththor, Wilt27, Polhouse, Joe Royal 15, Ishtar, Stellipus, BR4, Boba Fett, and Big Bambino. A lot of big names in there.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, some of you being around from that season have noticed there are 2 names that are missing from that list. They decided a while ago into Season 8 that they will not be returning into Season 9. That was Chiquito and Harm. So, leaving that open, who do you think will take the title next season?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because a gap has left open now with the departure of Harm and also from Chiquito. It is not really reflected in the standings, but the fact that he finished top 5 with a 3-race ban was obvious enough. Yeah, it's interesting because if any reserve come into race, they will almost always medal with the normal contenders for the title.
Mm-hmm.
The reserves are maybe even stronger than most of the grid. I think BR4 can turn up a good year. I hope he can. Maybe Stel, because he is also the reigning sprint champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very impressed by the 2 wins in a row by Big Bambino last year, since in my recent memory, Bambino was always like having pace and being near there, but not like top of any race results. And then suddenly in like the highest tier, he wins 2 races in a row. So I was impressed by that.
Yeah, so was I. It was nice to see him finally getting that top step. I think it's been deserved for a while.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. BR and Stel. I mean,
Yeah, and Joe
yeah.
Royal. I have a feeling that if you give him like a good environment to work and racing, then he can be very well. And he was not, of course, he was. I think 2 seasons ago he was following Trucker in the tier 2 to a runner-up place, and he was very long on the run for P3. I think he was just pipped in the last race by a point, but BR4. And yeah, also what I wanted to say is, of course, for Boba Fett and for Salieri, we have the same as for Zab because they're also from Ukraine. So I hope they're doing well, and yeah, I hope they will be able to race and forget the problems in the world anytime in this season.
Luckily enough, what I do know about those 2 is they have made it out safely.
Yeah, I heard that too. So that's very good news.
Yeah, so hopefully they keep safe and we do see them. Obviously, again, with Zab, if they don't make it, it will not affect their attendance rating.
And of course, having Polhouse not in for the first 3 races because of a stupid decision, There's already a big gap for reserves to fill in from the get-go in.
Yeah, so keep an eye out on your respective things, and then obviously let people know who will be your host at the time. Actually, won't be for the first 3 races.
Yeah, so I think host will be then. Did we think about that? Ross can host, Denja can host.
Shall we, for the first 3 races, say Ross?
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. Ross or
Yeah.
Denja. Yeah.
So either one of those two, Ross or Denja, for the first 3 races, let people know you're going to be there. But after that, it will be Paul House, because he has been the host for Tier 1 since I can remember.
Yeah. And Denja was already back up.
Yes.
Did you already set who the comps were, or?
No, I'm
Do we go
about to
too quick?
announce that
Oh.
now.
Oh, okay,
Obviously,
okay.
I'm retiring from Tier 1 comms. As much as I enjoyed it, and it was always eventful to watch, and they always provided something to talk about, I think we felt they deserved something better.
You don't have to talk yourself down like that, but
No,
I can also agree why you're saying it.
I mean, the person we are giving them, will you not agree that he adds the excitement that is needed?
He adds an interesting and different vibe of yeah of commentary and emotion to his stream. So I'm very glad we have him around.
So do I, and I'm happy to announce that we have given it to Pyro. He has deserved the promotion into Tier 1 comms. Congratulations, mate. And do it proud like I know you will. How is that? Oh, okay. So yes, that is the tiers. Obviously, Tier 1, Tier 3, and Tier 5, again, will be on Thursdays. Tiers 2 and Tiers 4, again, will be on Sundays. However, there is a slight change for the beginning of this season, isn't there?
Yep. Um, well, I think already if people looked into the calendar, they could already see it a little bit. Not really, but if you look at the intervals between the dates, then you will find out that it already starts on the 13th of March, the first race at Bahrain, and it will go on to the 17th of March. And the 13th of March is on a Sunday, and the 17th on a Thursday. So for the first 5 weeks, Tier 2 and Tier 4 will be ahead of the Thursday tiers, 1, 3, and 5. And that has mainly to do because of an AOR real life karting event in the weekend of 16 and 17 April. And yeah, for example, I'm doing a Sunday tier because I can't do Thursdays next season. But yeah, I will be leaving for the karting will be on the Saturday the 16th. And I will be leaving to home, but I won't be in time for my own race on the 17th if there would be a race then. So I don't think I will be the only one with that problem. So we just decided to let tier 2 and 4 start early, have a break of like almost 2 weeks then. And then from round 6 onwards, which is France, tier 1, 3, and 5 will be ahead of 2 and 4.
Then going to the drivers, we have Ross Thorne, Terminator31, Sven the Men, Twanik, Bundes1, El Traco, Usain Golt. Still have to think about that every time I say it.
I think he changed his name recently, but to something like Gold Fut or something, but he knows who he is.
Okay, that's good. Major XTC, Joe Royal, Joe Leary, returning from last season, new squid as well. X Robin W010, Jaculacco 04, Luke Boys 1. Hoping I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, both. But I don't know if you can say that. Both.
Base. No.
That's good enough.
Close. Black Charizard, also returning, same as Alupalu. Stebber, Abmo, our great friend here, SietseBouma,
And us.
and then myself. I will be in there again this season. Hopefully, doing a bit better than I did last season.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you'll be all right.
Yeah, well, done all right last season, finished inside top 10. I'm quite happy with that, with what I had around me.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
yeah, pretty good grid again, I'd say.
Yeah, I think we have like drivers from not every tier. I don't think there's a lot of tier 5, maybe except from Mike, but at least drivers from different pace classes, and that's exactly how we're gonna rate them. So yeah, that's very good to see. Then we have at least also some people that really can we really can put into America or Red Bull and be competitive with the others. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see how it ends up, and careful on coming for the title next season.